Thoughts on BookTube being exposed by Daniel Greene. Look, I knew someone was going to ask me about that. Give me a minute on this puzzle. I have some opinions on what you've said and what happened in the last week. Okay, apparently that's not it. Alright, so for those unaware, here's a very, very, very short summary of events, and then I'll get into my thoughts on it, okay? And I will fully own up to the fact that I didn't stream last week because I just really didn't want to talk about this, and I knew people were going to ask me. But I feel okay talking about it now. So, very brief summary of events is that my YouTube acquaintance, Daniel Greene, was almost 2 weeks ago now, publicly accused of sexual assault by another YouTuber named Naomi King, who I had never heard of before. And Naomi, they put out a video where they explicitly accused him of this and had some evidence, including like text messages and stuff, where they accused Daniel of assault, and it looked pretty bad. And then a lot of people immediately jumped on that. However, Daniel did come out like the day after or 2 days after and say, hey, these allegations are not true. And then for completely unprompted, Naomi released a second video where they admitted to lying, and then they admitted to lying about some parts, but they still claimed assault. And they also, like, there's no easy way to put this, they reenacted their own alleged assault, and also reenacted some of the dirty talk that, according to them, Daniel said when they were engaged in all of this, which I don't believe the dirty talk thing. It was clearly just meant to humiliate him, but it was a little bit, I don't know. It was weird, man. But anyways, excuse me. After that second video, they released a third video, and they deleted the second video. And in the third video, actually, I think they deleted both of the first two. And then in the third video, they said that they lied. They just straight up came out and admitted they lied about the assault. And keep in mind, while Naomi was doing this, they also asked for money. Like, they gave him a PayPal, and people sent them money for like legal defenses because Daniel made it clear he was going to pursue legal action. But then, yeah, in the third video, Naomi just straight up came out and said they lied. And then Daniel immediately released his own video where he gathered up a bunch of evidence. And again, you can go watch that if you want all the details, but he made it clear he was pretty innocent of the allegations. And then Naomi also deleted the third video. And so his name is pretty well cleared by now. There were a lot of booktubers who, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed because they really jumped the gun. And what should I say? They really jumped the gun, and Naomi's initial video, I will say, did look pretty bad. Like, I really was not sure what to think one way or the other. And their initial video did look bad. So I don't blame everyone for believing Naomi's account, but the way multiple big booktubers came out with the statements condemning Daniel without really waiting did rub me the wrong way a little bit. Because, again, I put out a statement, but the only thing I said was, I'm not commenting on this right now. I don't have any more information than what's already public, because I just... people knew that Daniel and I had an upcoming collaboration, and they were just asking me about it, and I felt like I had to say something, but I just couldn't take a side in it because there were some weird parts of Naomi's initial account, which it was weird, like how Daniel sent Naomi a cease and desist letter because Naomi was harassing him and his girlfriend. And a lot of people took the cease and desist letter as like a smoking gun, like, no one would ever defend themselves when accused of something if they weren't guilty. Like, it was really weird. Like, people pursue legal action and talk to lawyers whether they're innocent or guilty. And what was I saying? Like people treated the cease and desist letter like a smoking gun. Some of the text messages they showed were kind of vague and out of context. And Naomi also released a different video several years ago where they claimed that if one person wants to be in a relationship and the other person just wants a quick hookup, and then they have sex and the quick hookup just leaves and doesn't pursue a relationship with them, according to Naomi, that's assault, and it's really not. And that was probably the biggest red flag to me that made me question their account of events. And I will admit, like, I was kind of looking for reasons not to believe it because I do like Daniel, and like that's just where your brain goes to. You're like, no, I know this person. They couldn't possibly do that. So I will admit that was part of it. But like, yeah, that was a huge red flag when Naomi said that, because if that's their mindset, then I honestly, I think if somebody believes that, then they shouldn't be engaging in sex at all, because you're just not mentally healthy enough to deal with that. Because yeah, if the situation I described happens, that does suck that one person is getting hurt. But at the same time, it could just be someone manipulating someone else, which is scummy, but it's not in the same universe as assault. Or it could just be miscommunication. And, you know, in that case, that'd be, like, again, it'd be bad, but not the end of the world. Excuse me. I'm sorry if you missed the context for this, man. Just check out Daniel Greene's channel and look at some of his recent uploads. You'll see. But yeah, what was I saying? Naomi's account, I wasn't sure what to believe. It looked pretty bad, but it never truly convinced me. And the thing is, like all the booktubers who immediately believed that and then went out publicly and accused their acquaintance and colleague of a heinous crime. What was I saying? Yeah, like, and then they later deleted their initial statements and apologized. Like, there are several, I don't want to name names here, but there are several, like, big names who actually talked about this and made videos about it in some cases, and then they wound up having egg on their face. So, to the ones that actually apologized and admitted they were wrong and publicly admitted their mistake and, again, apologized. And your apology has to be just as public and just as vociferous as your condemnation, just to be clear. Otherwise, I don't think it counts. But, like, there are some of them who apologized, admitted they were wrong, and to them, I just say, hey, use this as a learning experience, because how do I put this? Like, use it as a learning experience so that next time you don't jump to conclusions and you don't feel the need to, you know, be so public in things like this. Because I did have some conversations with people in this circle who were trying to react to what was going on. And again, I'm not naming names. I don't want to make it seem like I'm drama farming or anything. But the private conversations we had, we were really concerned, and we weren't sure how to handle this, but we just weren't sure what to do or if we could do anything. I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't need to have an immediate public reaction, and I do wish more people understood that. And also, there are going to be some people, big or small, who just pretend they never said anything about this and don't apologize. To them, fuck you. But, yeah, how do I put this? The reason that the criminal justice system, the criminal justice system is so bad at dealing with sexual assault as a crime is because you have to follow a very strict process before you can even go very far in, like, getting a criminal trial and having charges brought. Like, you have to go through a long process, and you have to get a lot of evidence and everything. And even if you go to, like, a criminal trial and everything, they might still walk free. And that definitely has made made sure that innocent people don't get hurt. But it's also meant that some pretty bad scumbags get away with this. Like, it happens a lot, and that's unfortunate. And sorry, one second. Sorry, but the reason that we have such a strict process is because people like Naomi King exist, and we can't just believe anyone's account of things. Like, people do lie. We can't just immediately believe their account of things. And where was I going with this? Like, a lot of people forgot that even if you don't follow the exact same stringent procedures as the actual legal process, you should still have your own process. And you may agree or disagree with the official accounting of things, but you can at least come to your own conclusions and believe that. But there still needs to be some sort of process, though. Like, you still need to look at evidence and really ask yourself what makes sense. Like, there's a quote from the amazing atheist of all people talking about this very subject, where he says, when someone is accused of sexual assault, I don't believe them or disbelieve them, I believe the evidence. And like, the phrase believe women is just kind of dumb, because really it should be like, you need to take this seriously. Like, these accusations are very, very serious. And like, the other YouTubers who commented on this, I think as YouTubers, our reputation is our life's blood, and no one wants to be seen as being on the side of a rapist or not taking victims seriously. And so, yes, the collab is back on. I don't know when it'll come out. I need to hear back from Daniel before I can say anything, but it is back on. And what was I saying? Oh, yeah. As YouTubers, our reputation is our life's blood. No one wants to be seen as being on the side of a rapist. So you have to, like, be super public and super quick to say, hey, I have an opinion, and my opinion is the good opinion. And it's kind of hard to blame them for that, because it's hard to blame them for that, because there are definitely some people on the internet and some people in society at large who would actually get mad, even if it was someone who has never spoken to Daniel Greene, doesn't know him or anything. We might still have been smeared somehow, because like, that's how a lot of people treat this. And like, what I was getting back to is that if you are one of the people who immediately jumped on Daniel and didn't just say, hey, this is really concerning, and then try to look into it further or wait for more facts to come out, like, if you are one of those people, I think you're part of the problem. Because, like, again, if it weren't for people like Naomi King and the people who immediately believe people like Naomi King, we wouldn't need a criminal justice procedure and a criminal justice system, because we could just believe victims when they came forward immediately. So people like Naomi King and the people who immediately believed her are the ones contributing to a culture of skepticism and a culture of just trying to sweep this sort of thing under the rug. There, that's what I'm trying to say, sorry. When I watched the vid, Naomi just seemed off to me, like the thumbnail with her crying seemed clickbaity and insincere. Yeah, there were parts of that also were just weird. Like, it was clearly an edited video with a lot of cuts and, you know, putting in images and stuff. But they left in the panic attack bit, which just felt manipulative, because you'd think they would either just do the whole video, not really edit it, and leave in all the tears and the moments where you cried and stuff, or they would be really thoughtful with the editing and cut out the panic attack. That was weird, and yeah, just waiting until more information is released is always a good idea, you know? Like, what's that quote from the Zombie Survival Guide? Time spent thinking clearly is never time wasted. Like, that's, I straight up forgot what I was doing there. That's something I try to live by. Or remember that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where Aang goes to find an earthbending teacher, and he goes to Omashu to meet King Bumi, and Bumi's been taken prisoner. But anyways, once he finally gets back to Bumi, Bumi tells him about neutral Jing, which is the key to earthbending. It's where you just wait for your opponent to make the first move and then attack their weak points, basically, is what it is. Like, just waiting for your opponent to do something before you do anything. That's the point I'm getting at. Neutral Jing. A lot of people on BookTube could use some neutral Jing. Also, hold on a second. Earlier in chat, someone said, what'd they say? Did they say I got mentioned in some drama YouTuber's video about all this? Could you Could you tell me more about that, please? I'd rather be accused of inaction than spread poison and false rumors. My reputation will recover from the former, the latter not so much. Yes, that is true. Like, I really didn't want to spread false rumors. That's part of why I just didn't say anything. Jesse Gender has made the point that victims are often imperfect and that inconsistent memories from traumatic experiences are normal, so judging the veracity of an account of accusation. Yes, that is that is true. I don't like Jesse Gender that much. Sorry, but what she said there is very true. Like, victims often aren't perfect. Like, I mean, in Naomi King's accounting of things, she was claiming that she was just there for friends stuff, but even in the situation where I believe the assault happened, they were clearly there to have, they were there to hook up. They had a pre-existing relationship, even in her telling of events. So basically she was helping him cheat on his girlfriend, which would make her, again, an imperfect victim. And that's, you know, bad. I forgot what I was even fucking saying, man.